Vince Network. This is How to Watch TV.
Game of Thrones with Joel and Jeremy. My name's Joel.
I'm Jeremy. You can. We're brought to you by Comeuppance Network. Check out all of our social media sites at thisishowtowatchtv.com and email us at thisishowtowatchtv@gmail.com. What are we discussing here today, Joel?
I don't know. Is there something we're supposed to talk about? Oh yeah, that
A
thing.
leaked episode of
wait,
HBO's Game of Thrones?
Yeah, first of all, I want to address that. Not that it was leaked. Who fucking cares? It doesn't matter at all. It's like a couple days.
Right, and that's when we had the discussion. Like,
Right.
when it was leaked, like, why didn't HBO just put it up? Am I still talking into this?
Yes, you are.
My
'cause we're recording that.
HBO. Why didn't
We
HBO
never
just
plug that
just
in,
put
so-
put the damn episode up?
Right? Yeah. Why would it matter?
What at that point? Okay,
Yeah.
they leaked it, so now the internet has it. So which means everybody fucking has it who wants it.
Right.
And so why not just put it up on the site and let everybody go
It's
get
a
it from
flick-
your site?
It's a flick of a switch for them,
Stupid.
and they're just like, "Hey, guess what?
I don't
Game of Thrones
understand
is out."
how they didn't like just here's a gift, guys. It was leaked, so we're just gonna give it to everybody early.
Right.
That's how you smash that shit.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
Yep.
That makes what they did irrelevant.
Uh-huh.
Whatever, I'm yelling now, so
No, it's fine. I forgot. I totally forgot where we started with it. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, just the leaks, and then shit. Wasn't there something?
well, you wanted to address something else. You were
I know, but
the
I've
leak
lost
is.
it.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
The Beyond the Wall, episode 6.
Right. Season 7, episode 6, Beyond the Wall. We get introduced to the Snowshin 7.
Nah.
Nah.
The Snowicide Squad?
Uh,
No. Anyway, let's stop coming up with clever names. Just talk about what they were doing beyond the wall.
well, I have. What do you want to do?
I mean, dude,
where
there
do you
was
wanna
some
start?
fantastic conversations,
There was.
really, that happened in this episode. The whinging line was like one of my favorite lines
Right.
in the whole episode.
I love that in particular because my dad, when I said whinging one time, he's like, "No, you mean," and like kept saying other words, and I'm like, "No, I mean whinging."
you
He's like,
whinging.
he's like, "That's not a word." So I then Googled it and showed him it was a word. So like, I took particular pleasure in that happening on
just
the show.
way, he's like, I'm not whinging. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, your lips are moving and you're complaining about something.
Yeah,
that's whinging.
That's basically whinging. Yeah.
I mean, great stuff. That was a great line. I mean, there was a lot of great stuff between all the characters. Like, they all addressed their issues,
Right.
which in this long hike through nothingness.
It seemed like a long hike, didn't it?
I mean, not when Gendry was running back to the wall. It didn't seem that long. I don't know, man. Like, I guess we're just... The Army of the Dead ain't that far out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I swore I saw like a thing that explained the time in that.
They weren't like as far north as Bran went. You know what I mean?
Well, they can't possibly be because fucking the Night's King has been walking forever.
Right.
Now,
Well, I mean, like, he was at Hardhome, which wasn't like...
back in season 3, okay?
Okay.
Jojen has a vision and says, I mean, essentially, it's implied the Jon part. I saw Jon on the wrong side of the wall surrounded by enemies.
Right.
So he was flashing to that.
Okay. I mean...
So the Night King must be a Green Seer as well. Like, you'd have to think he has that
I
ability.
think, well, yeah, that's why I think he was able to see Bran and touch Bran.
Do we have
during
to touch
Green
on the
Sea.
Bran nonsense from yesterday that we discussed?
Why is it nonsense?
I'm not. I'm just playfully dismissing it.
I don't
that
think
people
it's
don't
nonsense.
think I'm taking it super seriously.
I mean,
I don't
well,
want to spin off into a bunch of theories. That's not the point. But the
understand.
discussion about Bran,
being the Night King.
well, that is like extrapolated from the fact that Bran was better at becoming the Raven because he could green see and he could warg, and the Raven could only green see and Jojen could only warg, or the opposite or something.
Well, Jojen could green see. That was like he was seeing visions and stuff. I don't remember him warging into anything.
Right, but somebody was a warg. Didn't
The wildlings had a couple of wargs.
okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But just all they could do
Just
was
that
warg.
he had both of those abilities
Right.
could lead. I mean, look up the theory. It's awesome. It's
is pretty
fun
cool.
to read through.
Right.
Shit.
It basically pits Bran as trying to go back in time to stop the Night King. At
And
one
then
point,
eventually-
becoming Bran the Builder and building Winterfell itself, and then failing or whatever to stop. Or I don't remember exactly what it was, but then like going back and like warging into the guy who was being stabbed in the chest as the Night King's, therefore making Bran the Night King. Like
Well,
it was really, really.
no,
you have to read it. Like
what
I'm not know if I'm saying
Right.
any of it right.
What they were saying there about that was that when he came back as the guy that eventually got the Night's King,
Right.
the stuff stabbed into him.
Okay, so he was, like,
But
warged into that.
He warged into that guy to try to kill the children of the forest, and then got caught by them, and then they made him the Night King,
Right.
by their decision,
That's
and it
what it
was
was,
random
okay.
like that.
Man, this thing is like
You all right?
what?
Would you get something in your eye?
Yeah, I don't know if this like is making me my like allergies go off or what.
The mic?
Yeah, what is it like rabbit hair or something?
No.
What is it? Is it
No.
fake?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fake.
Okay.
No, I skinned a cat and just put it over.
Do you have a
yours.
cat in here?
No, I do not. Not for no. I
Okay.
will. I don't even know where to start really. Like, I just have so many random notes here.
I mean, it didn't. The whole episode didn't take place beyond the wall. We went to Winterfell, did some Sansa and Arya stuff.
Okay, well, you want to talk about their stuff?
Do you want to just go by storyline and then we'll just?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
'Cause
So
I
let's
wanna
talk about.
save
Let's
the-
talk.
the-
Yeah, let's
the
talk
north of the
about
wall
what
for
that.
the end.
Then let's talk about what happened with them. Littlefinger's trying to pit them against each other.
Right.
We discussed that last time if that was going to be a ploy or not. Like I said something to the effect of they might be like trying to play him, which I could think still could be in play.
No,
like,
it is.
like-
Well, in my mind, it is in play.
The-
Arya
like-
she was fucking telling Sansa what she was doing as she was doing it. We're playing the game of faces. That's where you tell a lie and make it sound like the truth.
So there you go.
I mean, she
So there
fucking
you
said
go.
it right to her. You know what I mean? And then she knows that Littlefinger's overhearing her. Somebody put about Arya's training. It wasn't just the House of Black and White where she received her training. It was also Lady Crane. It's obvious now that I look at her telling Sansa about how Ned watched her shoot arrows. She's in character and putting on a show, just like Lady Crane did. That whole thing with the theater wasn't random, and Arya did not go through everything she's gone through to come back home and focus all her energy on picking up fights with her sister. There's so
This is
much
a
going on, and she's too smart to act so stupid and not have a plan by now. She's a trained assassin, and she's going to kill Pedo Peter. It says with the blade he's given.
Peter.
With the blade he's given to the Starks himself, trying to weasel his way into their family. I look forward to her trapping him in a room somewhere and gutting him like the snake he is.
I would enjoy that scene very much.
I just don't think that she isn't. I mean, she's got to be.
I think they're holding it back too. It's all. I think I'm sticking with it.
Well,
I
she's
think it's. I think
trying
it's
to
still.
toughen up Sansa. I think. Oh, well, I think
So
she's
okay,
just
do you
trying
think
to.
Sansa's in on it?
No, I don't think Sansa knows at all.
Oh, okay. So she's so
But she's
the
teaching
better
her.
she knows, the least she knows she's better because the better she'll play along with it.
Correct.
And run to Littlefinger. Oh, she's rooting him out, is what she's doing.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm following. I was already following, but thank you for putting it in simpler terms.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah, she's rooting him out for sure. I got it. I think that's for sure what's happening. She's not really against Sansa. She understands, just like John. Like she said, John would understand. She was a child, you know.
Right.
But I like her point about little Lady Mormont. You gonna tell her you were just a child? Like she was younger than you when you wrote this letter. Like that was
Yeah, and she's running her shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I
running
mean,
Bear, the Lady of Bear Island, right?
I mean, is there anything much more to that story in Winterfell?
No, I
Wasn't it pretty
think it's
much
just a point
that?
to if and when.
Oh wait, but so this is one where we saw Littlefinger setting her up, so to speak.
But that was in last week's episode.
Okay, that's what I was saying. That's in last week. So this
We
is
saw
the-
her. Well, now, see, did he go plant that? He went and planted that in Arya's room. Like I thought that was his room. She was sneaking around in.
Oh, it wasn't the parents'
I'm
room?
pretty sure
Wasn't
that was
the one that Sansa was in?
No, I think it was his. Her Arya's room because it looked just like the same where she had the dagger. Unless that was Sansa's room.
Huh.
Why would she hide her bag of faces under Sansa's bed? I don't know.
Okay,
I guess
see
we
what
have to
you
figure
mean.
out like what rooms that were.
Well,
like
but-
when she followed Littlefinger and he went into that room and
Yeah.
then came out and she watched him go in and out and then she went in after him, like that looked like the same room they were in when they were having that discussion.
Oh, I see what you're
like
saying.
where she found the faces.
Right. I mean, but I think she's setting this all up for Sansa to learn something and to flush out Baelish.
She doesn't trust him at all. She knows.
No, why would she?
Right.
She's too smart for that.
No, absolutely
She's
not.
going to wear his face and keep the fucking veil. She's going to keep running the veil as Baelish.
Why am I not thinking of? Did you just think of that just now?
Yeah,
Or,
I mean,
that's
why wouldn't
genius.
she? Why wouldn't she?
Absolutely.
I mean, assuming that happy things.
Hopefully,
get to
she
happen.
shoves that other little fucking
But
crazy.
he could kill
motherfucker
her. There's
through
nothing
who?
to say that Baelish couldn't
Dude,
surprise somebody.
There's been more than one or two people that have said that Peter Baelish is the most dangerous man in Westeros.
Do you
That's
want
been
to
said
hear a
more than once.
Littlefinger rumor?
Sure.
Or I mean, just I think it's a thought.
Since we're on that
Yeah.
group
If
of characters,
this has
right
been posted before, I apologize, but maybe this is the other piece of why Littlefinger is still alive. Right around the time that Rhaegar supposedly kidnaps and rapes Lyanna, Brandon beats and humiliates Littlefinger and almost kills him. I think that on Littlefinger's way from River Run to the Fingers, he starts the rumor, which prompts Brandon to head to King's Landing to demand his sister back. Is it possible for Littlefinger to have started this rumor to get back at Brandon and free up Catelyn's hand for marriage? Could this be when he realizes the chaos is a ladder?
starts the rumor that
That started not
Rhaegar
only
kidnapped Lyanna?
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Dude, this motherfucker has been at the center of it the whole time.
Right. He started both wars, in theory, if that's the case.
Yeah.
I
dude,
think that's
yeah.
a fun possibility.
That's awesome.
That's
Come on,
the kind of
come on.
twist that is plausible.
Yes.
I think, by the
so
end
now
of
then,
this.
what is that? Now, okay. So if that's the case, what implications would his death have then if Arya takes his face? Then people find him out while she's playing him, and she's got to work her way out of that. Then
Yeah, but she could give it away as him. She could gift it to the Starks. Oh, I can't handle it anymore.
and then at any
Let's
point
let
in
the
time,
Starks
she
take
could walk
over.
around the corner and
Yeah. Oh, we're here, by the way, the Starks. You know, after Littlefinger, right as Littlefinger leaves. Can we just get him to come back in here? Oh, I don't know where he went. He's probably...
didn't he just pass you in the hallway?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, I was
though.
looking
That
at my
like
phone. I didn't-
So long ago.
So you were reading something else or more?
No, I mean, that's fucking awesome. I didn't even really read that when I put it in here. Because that's fucking cool that I didn't
I mean, the
catch what
fact
he
that
was
he
saying.
sent the letter, planted the dagger, on the
Right.
assassin, like he did all of that shit.
Do you think he was again trying to get Catelyn free from Ned? Do you think he was trying to get Ned killed, but didn't expect for Catelyn to get killed? Like, do you think that was still part of the play? What if all of this was because he wants to fuck her?
Sansa or
No,
Cat?
Catelyn at the time.
Yeah, I mean, like I think
2 wars would have been started for her, from his point of view.
that's
I'm
crazy.
just saying, that's
But dude, like,
interesting.
yeah, I did like thinking about the implications of again the history of this world. Something that was said in passing at the very beginning of the show about him being cut by Brandon Stark from, hip to throat or something like that. He left him with a scar all the way up. Brandon Stark did. Baelish.
Okay.
That's like been mentioned like a long time ago.
But so
like,
that's
now that
he's
like
still
the reason
pettily
that
getting
he
revenge. Yeah.
incredible. Like
Right?
that would be incredible. Like I'm down for that being an actual thing. Like that's more.
kinda fun.
I think that's more feasible than not. Like if him, you could see him like giving his ending monologue or something and like spilling all of his reasons as to why he did it.
Right.
As Arya's about to fucking shove the knife through his throat.
I don't think he would be that open. I think he'd
No, I
still
don't know.
think
He'd
he'd get
still
out of it
bury
till
it.
the end.
Oh, to the very end.
Yeah, I don't think he would ever give it up. I'm not sure how that would work. How they would get him to.
God, he's a gambler, man.
Right.
Like think about that shit. Like even when Sansa was standing there with Brienne in last season, when she confronts him about being sold to the Boltons, and she's like, "What if I tell Brienne to cut you down right here, right now? What if he said, whatever you want me to do, I'll do." And she's like, "What if I want you to die?" It's like, "Well, then I die." Like right there, what if Brienne just pulls out her sword, and cuts his fucking head off? You know what I'm saying? Like that very well could have been a possibility at that point, but he fucking played it perfectly. God, that dude's a genius, man. He's the biggest villain in the whole fucking thing, man. He really is.
Yeah.
He's the biggest bad in the
mean-
whole fucking thing. And now he has one of the most powerful armies basically loyal to him.
Okay.
I got this thing right in my face.
I just have some random questions. Well,
About-
no. Okay.
About who?
About things.
So we're moving on to the next set of characters. Who else did we deal with in this episode? Did we do King's Landing at all? Yeah, we saw some King's Landing stuff, didn't we?
Okay, what did we see in King's Landing? I genuinely don't really recall. I didn't make super detailed notes for that kind of stuff. I figured we've seen the episode so many times by now that
I've only seen it twice or three times. Did we see any King's Landing stuff? The whole her being pregnant thing, that wasn't this episode?
No,
That was last
that was
episode.
last episode.
When he gets back from the battle of
Yeah,
the
that was
Blue
last
Train battle.
episode. Yeah.
I don't know if we got any King's Landing stuff. It might have just been Winterfell and
I'm just looking for through a quick
Dragonstone a little
recap.
bit when they talk about they have a small conversation there about being heroes. That's another set of characters because the Dragonstone set.
Yeah, they don't mention anything in King's Landing. I'm
I-
really
I-
sorry for being that
No.
for not having made these notes.
No,
I
no,
usually
that's
don't
fine. You don't have to apologize. What I'm saying is like I don't think we went to King's Landing in
I
this
don't think so.
episode. Okay, so
Well, okay, well, so there's many things to discuss going north. Then, one of them is where were the white giants? Like, where were the undead giants in this battle? Like, we saw them marching with them. Why would they not be there?
we saw them through Bran. Through a
Right.
site, who knows when that was. But yeah, what you're saying makes sense. Why weren't they with that entire army that was
Right.
chasing them down? They're keeping them in the hip pocket, man. Bran knows about them, but he's the only one.
Right. So okay, so we got to discuss them getting there. Them walking to where they finally heard them coming around the corner, and then
Okay,
it was that
ambushed 'em.
crazy ambush. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they got surrounded. That he sent Gendry off before, so
They got surrounded, right?
before they got surrounded. So Gendry ran back to the wall,
Right. Left
Which-
his hammer.
left his hammer with I mean,
With the
makes
torment.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, but yeah, it sucks. I don't think the hammer made it out.
No.
I don't think so.
Well, so what? He's a blacksmith, or he's an iron worker.
Yeah,
He'll
sure
just
enough.
make
I guess
another
he'd
one.
make a new one, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of dragon glass this time.
Right. Oh yeah, of course. It'll be
Right,
more
okay.
badass.
All right.
Yeah, they
That
have
makes
a
me
little
feel
bit of
better about it
time
because I
now,
really
think.
liked the hammer and I liked Gendry swinging the hammer.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see even Gendry swing the hammer once. The hammer was swung
Right.
plenty of times, but it wasn't Gendry swinging the hammer. There was that image that we went over last time that had the dog holding it, and we were both like, "Oh shit, they're gonna bring Gendry back just to kill him, and he's pick up the hammer." No,
No.
it was a simple thing as him. You can't run as fast with that. Let me take
Yeah,
it.
let me take
that was it.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah. Oh, totally makes sense.
I mean, should we discuss the people complain about the time in that and how long it took? And I get that one. That one seems totally reasonable to be like, how fast could he possibly run back? He's going to have to pause. You know what's not going to have to pause? Just send a couple whites after him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just send a couple. He will slow down at some point. He can't run the entire way to the wall. He's going to have to catch a breath at some point. I mean, he's in pretty good shape. But still, it seemed
Running
like they were
through
walking
freezing
for
cold.
days. But who knows?
Like I don't think it was days.
What do you
I
think it was?
Okay. Me and Jenna went over this.
Okay.
Your co-host on
Yes.
Chronologically Lost
Yep.
is my wife, and we talked about the amount of time. Okay, so we think there was a day up into the polar bear attack, which was fucking awesome.
Right. Okay,
But
that's what we
now
didn't
I think
talk
because it
about.
went from light. They had a bunch of conversations. They got attacked by the polar bears, which looked like it was nighttime or in a windstorm or something.
Right.
So,
So that
that's
was
the
leading
questionable
towards-
area. Was that
right.
nighttime or was that just a windstorm?
Right.
That's what we don't know.
Okay.
Okay. They encounter they ambush the group, the small group, somewhere in the evening. Okay.
Right.
They kill the White Walker. They take the white. He screams. The giant thing. All this is taking place with seemingly in a few seconds. They run across the frozen lake and get stuck on the middle of the rock. Okay, then there's where your hours pass into nighttime. They spend the night there. Gendry's already made it back. At the same time, they're sleeping at the rock. Gendry's making it back to the wall and sending the Raven. The Raven's making it to Dragonstone overnight. The next morning, she gets on the dragon, starts flying towards them. Just bear with me. I feel like I've made sense so far. Okay, she's flying towards them. They wake up. They start having these conversations. Thoros is dead. They light him on fire. What's his name starts throwing rocks. So this is mid-afternoon. So it's been maybe a day and a half, 2 days. They've been out there.
Should be freezing to death, standing still in the middle of a horde of zombie
Yeah, but
whites.
John and them are used to it. Like they've been in the north. They've lived in the north all their life. I would think it would take more for them. It would take more than just a day for them to freeze to death. Overnight, they kind of huddled together, like not naked or anything, but they were all kind of sitting next to each other for warmth. So somebody did freeze to death. I mean, probably partially from his wounds and partially from freezing to death, but
Right.
Thoros died.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of blood.
Right.
You know, easier for him to freeze to death. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I don't think they were out there for more than like 2 days. 2 days at the max.
Well, here's what somebody has on it.
Okay.
You know, somebody came up with some figures that give a rough timeline of the series of events. Let's see.
You got a long read?
I don't know. I'm going to check it
Well, go
out.
ahead.
I didn't click to the actual thing. Shit. Yeah, that's a long read. I'll just go with the highlights. So, ravens are compared to real-world carrier pigeons, which can travel 1,100 miles at up to 50 miles per hour. So, assuming that speed as an estimate. Eastwatch and Dragonstone are roughly 1,900 miles apart, according to one lore map, rounded up to 2,000
How
because
long would
of
it
flight
say they
path.
could fly 50
1,100 miles.
at 50 miles an hour? So how long would that take?
We're getting there.
Okay.
That means the Raven could make the flight in about 40 hours, plus 8 for food or rest. So 2 days. One way.
Well, that's all
With
she needs.
no science available on how fast dragons fly, he estimates they can fly at least as fast and as long as carrier pigeons. So 2 days for a return trip, 4 days
I would
total.
think they could fly faster than carrier
Yeah,
pigeons.
but not much, because if they went much faster, Danny would be frozen to death. You know what I mean? Like the speeds of all that stuff, once you get up there, there would be a limit to it. They
She's
can't just go
laying
supersonic
on
speeds.
an animal that breathes fire.
Right.
Okay, anyway, go on.
But
Go on.
all I'm saying is I don't think it's like 1,000 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like
No.
it's probably maybe a little bit faster than them. So even say it's a day, that still puts it at 3 days now
3 days already. Okay.
of that.
Okay.
And then
Now, 3 days from when?
from when they
when?
sent the Raven.
3 days. So that's that. So that's already 4 days if you're counting the day that it took them to run back to the wall and all that. Okay, go ahead. 4 days. We're at 4 days.
Right. That's a long ass time with no food and being surrounded by, you know what I mean? All that shit freezing, you know? It's a long ass time to just sit still. I see why the Hound ended up getting bored and throwing stuff at him. But I believe that
I
this
have an
was
explanation. You're gonna love this.
why the Hound did that.
No, for the whole thing.
Well, I think that they were fucking
Magic.
Oh, right. I think
I'm sorry.
I think that he's a green seer and he saw this in advance too. The
Who
Night
did?
King. He knew that this would be where the dragon would show up. Like his whole plan was
Oh
the
yeah.
dragon.
Oh, he
So
wanted the dragon.
he wanted
I got
the
you. Okay,
dragon.
yeah, that's
So-
a good. Yeah, that's
so
a good assumption.
That's why they didn't kill them.
They were waiting,
They waited. They fucking pressed pause.
so he knew
For
the dragon would come.
days.
So this is what they need to get through the wall.
Right.
So you think the dragon's still just gonna breathe fire?
I don't know. That was an interesting. Somebody brought it up. They said if an ice dragon breathes ice, that's strange because it's technically has the body and innards of a fire-breathing dragon.
So you think it would just still breathe fire?
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be super like, oh, it's not unrealistic.
Scientific about it.
But the body is created to breathe fire, not
Right.
ice. So
Right.
like just changing its eye color in theory wouldn't change everything.
Bringing
would
it
make
back to life, he's not really changing its core
right
DNA.
functionality and stuff.
So yeah, no, I could see it still breathing fire. Like
Right.
I don't think I would be like totally blown away by that, but like that's everybody's first question.
Is it going to breathe?
Is it
ice
going to
or
breathe
fire?
ice now? Like I don't know. Like I will have to see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could see blue fire.
Right, a blue flame.
blue flame
yeah,
instead
the
of
hottest
being-
part of the flame or
Right.
something.
You know, like when it breathes fire, it's blue fire. Just like the wildfire was like green fire. You see the blue like fire.
Somebody then replied to that comment and said, "Yeah, a magical creature shot down with a magical spear that got revived from death by magic. Ice breath doesn't seem like such a stretch at all."
Right. Well, that's true too. But yeah, see how he just throws the word magic in there? Just
Right,
like,
I
come
know,
on.
like a
it's a
fucking
blanket
asshole.
explanation for everything.
It is. It pisses me off so much that it does that. God damn it.
And that you can't find a way around it.
Right.
Like, because it is. It's just, it is what it is. It's like,
Somebody says,
it sucks. Yeah, I get what you mean.
somebody followed that up with the Night King arrives at the wall, yells, "Ice Dracarys." The dragon breathes ice at the wall. Wall gets stronger and bigger. Night King brings up a list and crosses out the item. Things to try. Fight ice with ice.
Dude, I'm telling you, you made me laugh like so fucking hard with you said D&D got some explaining to do with this plot hole here.
plot hole.
How come the Night King can't just throw his army over the wall one by one? It's cracking up.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. He has massive javelin arm. I mean,
mean-
because that was very far.
Okay.
Like, I get it. It's a supernatural being, but to what extent?
But dude, like this racked my brain. That was like one of the things I did not like. I still don't care for.
What?
Is the fact that he was just like, I get that it was his plan the whole time. Understand?
Right, we're buying that, right? That-
Right.
that
Okay.
He
that
knew
he planned
somehow?
this. Okay. Which is fine. However,
Okay.
you could have made the javelin thing cooler. Like he's the Night King.
Is
like,
it a kind of a bummer that
he just took it off the back of a horse and was just like, here. Like, I didn't like that. Like, I would have liked it. Like, now this is like just my fucking fantasy imagination going, you know, like
Okay.
if he would have just been like standing there and like forming it in his hand, like just a fucking spear of ice just started forming in his hand.
And then
like,
he just
and then he
threw
just
something
threw
that he
that
just
at the
created.
like, that would have been like way cooler looking than just the, oh, here, like my fucking assistant's handing me my fucking javelin because I'm in the Olympics. Like it was, I didn't like that. I didn't like, I
Okay.
thought it would have been way cooler if it would have been like, it could have been an ice javelin. That's fine that he created in his hand, but just like
Yeah,
floating
just
in the air, just like
manifested,
like,
yeah.
you know, like, and he just winged it. Like that would have been way cooler than being it handed to him off the back of a horse. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, Ryan, could you hand me that? Thanks.
Yeah.
They just have
Gotcha.
normal names. The
Yeah.
White Walkers.
Yeah,
Yeah, my name's Brad.
right.
I'm the Night. I mean, you call me the Night King. My name's Brad. I don't
Brad.
know,
Yeah, it's short for Bradley.
Yeah.
Wentworthington. is the last name.
Wentworthington. Shit, I was gonna say something there. What were we just talking about?
The javelin, ice javelins, and ice dragons, and whether he breathes fire and or ice or. I mean, we were talking about a lot just now. so
Right.
It's gone, dude.
Yeah. People were bitching about the chains coming from nowhere, but if he knew and that was his plan,
That explanation makes everything make sense, more sense. Why he would have those chains. Like,
Right.
he's not just going to have them laying there. He fucking had them put to the side waiting for
Right.
this shit to go down.
Yeah.
Because he had already seen
he'd
it.
already seen it happen.
And knows
if
how it
that's
went down.
if that's Bran, that makes even more
Oh,
sense.
dude. If it's, I'm telling you, that's making more and more
I
sense.
mean, look
to me.
at the outfits. You saw that little clip.
Yes, that's making more
They
and more
look the
sense to
fucking
me.
same in their outfit stance.
It's making
You
more
know,
and more
they're-
sense to me. It's. Do you think about like the three-eyed raven being his enemy? Like,
What
his
if they're
sworn,
just
like,
setting? They've been setting up Bran
the
being
villain the whole time.
unwalkable. You know, being so he can't walk, so that we don't. We're off put by the idea that that can't be him. He can walk. The Night King. You
Yeah,
see what I'm
but,
saying?
like,
to try to throw us off the
magic
the
to be able
trail.
to make him walk again
No, the
after he turned into the
warging.
Night King.
The warging. He was another person. We saw the Night King be made. So either way, it was a different body.
So now here, like, this is where we started having the conversation yesterday before we rescheduled. Was
Right.
what happens to Bran's body then? His real body from the current
if he's
timeline.
He's what? Green seeing or
Green
is it
seeing-
warging?
both.
It's both.
I
is
think
he's
that's what
doing?
it is because that's what happened to.
Oh, he's green seeing and then he's warging into somebody
yes,
in the green side.
and that's what he did to Hodor.
And that's what fucked up.
That's what
Hodor.
fucked up Hodor. So maybe he's fine-tuned that ability a little bit,
Right.
or tries it again and fucks up and gets stuck. You stay too long, you drown.
Right.
Gets stuck in the dude who becomes the Night King. But then, what happens to Bran's body on this side is what I'm saying. Like
Can
the
it-
side
can it-
that's
can it-
grabbing onto the tree, or the side that's laying there with his eyes
Can
wide.
it not just die?
That's what I mean. Like, does he just so that's so
I would
then
think that he just
so then
dies,
that's just a
yeah.
vessel at that point. Like his consciousness and his
Well, I think that's
brain would be
always
a-
been the case. Like
Okay.
if you want to say the spirit,
spirit
I
or the
think that's
body, right.
always been the case for the green seeing and the warging. That's the epitome of warging is
you're seeing
my-
through somebody else's soul.
myself is going into yourself,
Right.
into your vessel, so to speak. So that it's not
Yeah, but
the body that's
you know
me.
and you know
it's
who
the-
flat out asked that question?
Who?
Jon Snow.
Yeah.
What happens to your falcon when I kill you? Does it flop dead to the ground, or does it? What happens? Like Jon asked the warg what
Oh,
happens.
that's right. Okay.
You
What
know?
did he say? I
He
don't
didn't
remember.
answer him. It
No.
was, yeah. And after he killed the guy, the falcon came flying down and clawed Jon's face up.
Okay.
So I mean, there's definitely some steam to that, dude. That's not just a throwaway bullshit. Bran is the Night King. That's a thing, dude. I think that can very
definitely
possibly
read that whole thing. I
Yeah.
don't want to go through it all
happen.
because
I think
it'll
it could
take
even be
over
differently.
the whole.
Like even the way they could be presented differently than the way that it was in that theory that we read. It doesn't have to be that complicated.
No, right. I mean, yeah.
It could be a lot
so
simpler.
The idea being then basically that Bran.
Goes back.
So was it that he failed something in the present? Wasn't that what happened?
I don't
too?
see. Like I don't get. Like they say he tried again. Like so, how many times did he get to try? Like does he keep living his life in a circle, basically fulfilling his?
Well, but if
time-
he's just warging into it, and the warging is time different, you know what I mean? Like here it's a day, and there it's a year, kind of a thing.
But do we-
to that extent, he could maybe live what seems to be a lifetime for that person, but then come right back, and it's only been 2 days.
Right. Okay. So,
know, so
the
if
passage of time
that's-
isn't the same.
we
like,
don't know. I'm
okay.
guessing-
So
I'm saying if
no.
that's the
Well,
case.
because I think
Because
even the writers have put it like that. Like they at the end of season 6, like after the door when they got attacked, and they said he was trying to download all of this information
right.
quickly. So like at the time passage of time isn't the same.
Okay.
It's like when he's watching his dad fight, blah blah blah. It's not necessarily in this realm or whatever it might be, the present, taking as much time as it took for that to take place.
Right.
Okay, that's a convoluted way of saying it, but right, time is.
Yeah. So what I said, but less complicated.
Yeah, isn't the green thing is the time isn't the same.
Gotcha.
So yeah, okay. Because even like in the flashbacks with the Bad King and all
But
that shit
that's
was
how
like,
it could make. That's how
was
that
off.
could make sense.
Yes.
So what the thought was that first. God, what was the first one?
so
went back-
he could seemingly live countless lifetimes.
So he was trying to kill the Night's King. Wasn't that the goal?
Well, or prevent it from happening, right?
God damn it! I just have to look it up now because I don't remember what the crux of it is. Bran is the Night King. Reddit. Let's go. Okay, Bran will go back in time, Terminator style, to the point when the first White Walker was created. He will attempt to rewrite the future by making peace with the children of the forest. He will warg into that first man and attempt to use his own knowledge to cut a deal and end the war with the children. However, it backfires. He gets tied up, and this is a different theory.
But it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
It's simpler.
Right. Yeah, and because the Raven said it's possible to drown in the Weirwood net, Bran will stay too long in the past and get stuck as a disembodied consciousness inside of that first man, becoming the Night King. Bran, corrupted as the Night King, uses his warging ability to control the dead, which isn't far off from some of George R. R. Martin's other work. The Corpse Handler trilogy deals with a telepath that controls dead bodies for laborious work. The ending of his novella Night Flyers deals with a disembodied consciousness going insane and killing people. This will happen.
That would
It is
totally
known.
make sense as to why the rest of those
They all died.
they all
when-
died when he killed the White Walker.
Right. That reminded me of like a Zelda thing where you kill the lead
main
one in the
one, yeah.
room and then the rest all just disappeared.
Right.
That was in the first Zelda game.
Yeah.
You go into the castle or into the dungeons and
That makes a lot of sense. I'm telling you, there's steam to that shit, man.
I like the way this one presented it. But the other
a lot
thing,
less convoluted.
but I want to know about the
Like you said, he could seemingly go back like and warg into Brandon the Builder with his knowledge and help him build Winterfell, seemingly in no time. You know what I mean? To him
Right.
on this side.
God, I just can't figure out where that thing was. That's so annoying. I should have just put the link down. Why does stuff just disappear like that when it was... Let's just pop Game of Thrones subreddit here, and come on, Bran as the Night King's got to be right there at the top, right? You'd think it would still be. Fuck it. Anyway, look it up.
Right.
If the White Walkers can't swim, who went down and attached the chains? On
I like the
dragon?
fact that's an explanation of magic
What?
for you.
What's that?
That's why the dead are being controlled. Is this form of warging?
Right, but that means
cool.
that it's very specific. There are different levels where Bran just happens to be one of the more powerful ones. You know, because green seeing and warging are two distinctions of magic right there.
Right.
So there are levels, which is all we were ever trying to determine when it came to the Ice Dragon potential. I love that the week after I talk myself out of wanting an Ice Dragon,
Boom.
because I had wanted one for years. How
And
long
then
have we
there it
talked
is, you
about an
get
Ice
it.
Dragon? And no, it wasn't that I was against it or anything.
No.
It was just like, you know what? It sort of ups the level too high. It takes it to dragon versus dragon instead of alive versus dead.
Well,
You
live
know,
dragon
like
versus
humans
dead dragon.
fighting off death. I mean, that's what every human does. We're always just fighting death. We don't want to die. So it's life. You're just fighting to live. So it's like a metaphor. But if it's dragon frozen versus dragon alive, like then it's just two dragons fighting.
Yeah, but there's still other people.
I know, but you know what I mean. It
The
just,
characters will still be involved in that fight.
I guess it just sort of evens it out then.
Well, it's just like the way I
'Cause
equated
we
it
don't know
was
what the
like
White Walkers can
Donald Trump went over to North Korea and just left a fully working nuclear bomb there. It's like, here, this is how it's done,
do. Right.
and then left.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what they did. They left
Right.
a fully. Well, they didn't know it was operational, but they left
I
a
don't
working
know. I mean, I
weapon
like
of
that.
mass destruction.
I
there.
like that, but yeah, it is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that we're necessarily willing to drop nukes, whereas they would be.
True.
But she's willing to use the dragons for sure.
Well, now both sides are.
Yeah, and now it just sort of cancels it out a little bit. I mean, who's to say that it's going to stop growing? Who's to say? I mean, that's probably the case. It probably won't get any bigger. The Ice Dragon.
Because it's dead.
Yeah. Whereas the other two will get bigger. Not that there's going to be a lot of time before they meet
I
up
mean,
again.
like
Do you think
they've
the Night
had,
King's going to ride one?
like they've done a pretty good. Why wouldn't he? Like he's like, I'm the Night King. That's my fucking horse now.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Right. Did you hear the thing
Flying.
about flying the
Bran
dragons?
flying as the Night King
See,
riding the dragon.
That was another thing where somebody was talking about Bran.
Let's not use the whole podcast to search out that.
Right.
that
No,
theory.
I'm not. So if the White Walkers can't swim, who went down and attached the chains to the dragon?
Well, let's say they don't need to swim. They could just sink.
Well, oh, so they didn't come back up.
Didn't need to come back up.
Oh, they just grabbed.
Unless
the
they
chains.
grabbed onto the chain and went back up. And like we're pulled out.
Fair enough.
Right.
Can there not be female White Walkers? Sexist?
You haven't seen any yet.
Why is it only males?
Because the babies were the ones they were given. We have to assume that they were turning the babies into White Walkers.
why
the-
no?
the
But
Craster
why
sons.
only males?
And like how many of them are left now? Because John's killed two of
Do you
them.
remember seeing that big line of White Walkers that were blurred out when the Night King was walking to the land that's always
There was 13 of them.
there was a bunch there. Presumably there's a
13.
lot more than that still. I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
there's
how many
not.
sons could he have possibly had?
I don't know. People were talking upwards of 30.
Okay.
But why only males? I'm curious.
That's what I don't know. That's what they
Why
wanted.
would the White Walkers wouldn't they want to be able to breed potentially?
Maybe it's not breeding. They don't need to breed when people are sacrificing their sons for them to turn into White Walkers. Why would they need to breed if that's their
well,
breeding
but just
method?
I'm just curious why there would
That's
only
why
be
they're
that.
so cold and angry is because they don't get to have sex.
Yeah, they don't get any. Right, but aren't we also if we're I mean, I'm sorry to be leaning so hard on the brand thing, but if we're going with that at all, isn't
Oh, dude, I'm like
Bran
almost
then
doing the
doing
same
it?
thing, like where I'm going with it. Like,
isn't Bran then doing it? Like isn't he the one with all this magic
yeah,
that's doing all of the bad shit, the winter shit? whoever
Potentially.
the Night King is. Let's just say
Right.
Night King. I don't mean to force the Bran one on, but
Right.
the Night King is. I don't know. I just whatever. Why did they not make a whole scene out of Jorah and the Hound seeing White Walkers for the first time, or Tormund seeing a dragon? You know, like
I mean,
I get that the dragon one. I get that because it's in the middle of a battle.
I think
but-
even doing that, even Tormund did do a good job of having a look on his face like, holy fucking shit. I know they said it,
Yeah,
but holy shit.
Yeah, like, there it is.
When he was like when the dragon landed, he was even like, you know, like his eyes were wide the fuck open, and he was just
Right.
like he did a look of bewilderment on his face. I think I noticed that.
yeah,
So I think he did a good job of, without saying
Right.
anything, selling it. But like at that point, you're right. Like when the dragon lands, they're like, I don't know, dude. Like because they can't be surprised by it. They knew what they were doing.
right.
They weren't like the Hound saw him in the fire. Barrack and all them already knew about the Army of the Dead. Like
Right.
they weren't. There's
Oh,
no one to
okay.
be surprised
He
by.
wouldn't have been surprised by it there.
They
that
told
makes
Gendry
sense.
what was going down.
Right.
Like everybody knew what they were getting into. They were going to capture one of these fuckers. It wasn't like there was one guy that was going with them that was like, "Yeah, I still don't believe you, motherfuckers."
Right.
You're like, you're gonna have to show me. You know, like I don't think any of them were like that. I think they were
Right.
all bought in. Like so when the Army of the Dead showed up, like nobody was fucking surprised. Like this
Yeah.
is what they came here to do. Like it wasn't a. That's why they weren't surprised by it.
Okay.
I think they were all surprised when he killed the White Walker that they all dropped. Like everybody was kind of like, "What happened?"
Right. Somebody said back in season 1, Khal Drogo melted Viserys Targaryen. I think it's only right for Drogon to melt Viserion when the real war begins in the final season.
Drogon's gonna just
Melt the ice dragon potentially.
and it just be over like that.
Yeah. I mean, I
kinda
don't know
cool.
that would be the case, but that would be cool.
The Drogon's just fucking like almost
Yeah.
twice his size and just grabs his claw and fucking
Right.
puts him down and just melts his fucking face.
Uh-huh.
Like that'd be pretty sweet.
Let's see other
So do you think
things.
this dragon changes like visually, or do you think he just stays looking like?
I would
he would be
imagine
kind of
it'll
cool
go
if
a
he
little
looked
icier.
like he looked like the Night King, like he was like
I think it'll
covered
get a
in
little
ice.
bluer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
colder
sweet,
and
yeah.
How
How far have you made
it?
it? I'm sorry, we're going off track again, but how far have you made it into that book, The Ice Dragon, the George R. R. Martin book?
Second chapter.
I like literally when I was sitting out there for like a few minutes, I started reading it.
Yeah, it's not bad, right?
I was in like.
Yeah, but
Next thing I
you're
knew, I was
picture-
like, "Holy shit! What time is it? How long
but
have
you're
I been sitting
but
here?"
you're picturing it as King or as
In Westeros, taking
you're
place in
picturing
Westeros.
what? Here's how I'm picturing it. It's a kid's interpretation of what the world is.
Yeah,
The way she's explaining it is like, because she's like, oh, and the king castles and stuff. Like
Yeah.
she's just not saying King's Landing because she doesn't know.
right.
Like she's not hip to all of the
Right.
terms of the world
Because she doesn't have
yet.
the internet, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
To like
It just
understand
it
all that
was
shit
just-
immediately.
So I think of it in that
Yeah.
in that context.
I think I like
the dragon
somewhere
riders and the
somewhere I don't remember where it was or what I was listening to or what I was into or whatever fucking YouTube rabbit hole I was down.
Right.
But they've heard somebody talk about that book and how it's widely almost confirmed, like just outside of confirmed, that it takes place in Westeros.
yeah.
Yeah. That it's just another story. It's just like you,
Right.
like you,
Another
like,
person's
it's just
tale.
It's just this person who lives in a farm somewhere, wherever it takes place.
Right.
You know, like it doesn't. And these are these characters. It doesn't have anything to do with,
With
the,
the
War of the
ruling,
Five Kings and
yeah.
all of that shit. Right. Which I think is a really cool idea too.
Right.
I don't know that it's worth
Doing multiple.
having a season about it, or
Right.
like I wouldn't mind like a short, like a
That could always be fun
know?
though, but they could do that. It just, they could do a Rogue One kind of a thing with Game of Thrones at some point. They could eventually do an episode that's just a standalone, but it sets some piece in place that we never saw get put in place. Just like Rogue One.
right.
Yeah, they could easily do that.
I
don't know if they ever will.
with the Ice Dragon necessarily, but like I'm just
No,
saying
not
that, like that to me is cool. Like I like that I believe came first, didn't it?
What's that?
The Ice Dragon was before any of this. Like that book was before.
Yeah, it was before
Song of
Ice and Fire. Yeah. If they made an ice dragon and the wall doesn't come down in the finale,
I mean, like, they
Like,
have to.
if-
There's no way.
If that comes down next season, that's lame.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say you waited too long, and I'm no longer interested at that point. Like, fine, it'll be cool, but like, I'm pissed off that you're waiting so long for that one thing. Just fucking do it already.
Just
Like,
do it. We should definitely see it at the end of the next episode. Let's
because
just
it's
have
gonna turn into this. It's gonna turn into fucking. And I'm sorry, spoilers for the end of Dexter for anybody who gives a fuck for the next 30 seconds while I rant. They killed Deb in the second to last episode, and then it was the finale, and he's dealing with her body. They didn't even fucking let it set in that she was gone
right.
before they ended it. It was like, what the fuck was the point then? We didn't even get to sit with that for 3 episodes, and like, fuck, this is what his life is like without her. There was no emotional payoff.
Right.
It's fucking dumb. So I don't want it to be where the wall comes down in the it'll probably come down in the fucking opening of next season, dude. I bet you. Like the end of the first episode next year it comes down.
They do shit like that.
Right. Where they'll
They
save
have
that
done
for
shit
the
like that.
premiere.
But I don't know, man. They brought
just
down
get
the
to
sept
it.
in the beginning of the finale of last season, which was really fucking cool. I mean, like,
Right.
how do you follow up the Battle of the Bastards? You blow up the fucking sept in the beginning of the next episode.
Right.
Like, that was fucking incredible, dude. Now, if something like that happens, like, I'd like to see that. Like, but you're right. In this episode, this
Right.
next episode,
it should happen then.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't
I-
want to
I-
tell you how to pace your fucking show, but
I mean,
Everything
like I
else
said,
is
dude,
moving
like,
so
I'm
quickly.
not. I don't want to get on the side of griping about
No,
it too
no,
much
not
because
at
I've
all.
really fully enjoyed it. Like, and depending on how they pull it off, yeah, I probably would be a little bit disappointed that it didn't come down this season because we called it last season,
right. Like it feels like it's taking fucking forever
Right.
for them to walk.
and it feels like
But
they
if they're
don't.
waiting for things, then it makes sense.
Right.
It at least explains why they are. And people have
Maybe
guessed.
that's why. Maybe that's why it's taken so long for them to get there right outside the wall. They were just waiting for
just waiting.
that event,
Right.
the
They had
the
to wait for
gathering
it
of
to
the
get
dragon.
there. Yeah. Okay, so Tormund, he convinced John to bend the knee. I really liked that scene, the way he did that. It was real, like,
How many have to die for your pride, right?
yeah, like
Perfect.
it was like, oh shit, okay. He's like, finally, somebody who's in this thinks I should do it. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Like, I think he was just looking for validation,
Right.
that it was okay to do it without it, whereas people wouldn't turn on him. And plus, when he finally did it, it wasn't because she was demanding it. It was based on her actions. She earned it.
She earned it. Yes,
and she's
exactly.
growing too based on her reaction there. With the way that she spoke with him, she's like, I hope I deserve it rather than I demand it. Like
Right.
she was doing a couple episodes ago.
Right.
So she's growing.
She's growing.
Yeah.
Now, here's a line that I thought was funny. Like, and I didn't even realize it till the third time I watched the episode.
Okay.
Well, and he says, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You know, we should have never went." And she's like, "No, I'm glad that we went because now I've seen it.
Yeah.
You had to see it to know." Nah, no, you didn't. You could have just believed him.
Yeah, but why
You
would
could-
she?
I get
It's
it, but
craziness.
It's still.
It's
You
like you
coulda-
tell me that you're going to go ghost hunting.
get it.
I'm not going to believe you.
Yeah, I know, but you still like.
But
Come on, that's
you
had to
could
cross
prove
your
it to
mind.
me.
Like, I really could have just believed him, and like we could have avoided this situation.
Yeah, but she's growing
I
from
get
that,
it,
and
yeah.
she's learning that thing where, like, when I went to jail, you know, I wouldn't change that now because it made me who I am. You know what I mean? Like, it was part of my fuck ups. It was fine. You know, it was all part of the causal web that gets you to any certain point in your life. She needed to have that loss anyway for the next thing, which is her getting pregnant. That's the next thing.
So she's just convinced that it can't happen because of what happened before.
Right, but what did they say?
Blood magic.
Yeah, but what did they say to her about it? About
That
when
was-
she gave up the baby for
Only death can pay for life.
right, and what just happened? Her child died.
Oh, okay, I like it. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know.
So
I
who's she
mean,
gonna get
that's why
pregnant
they're
by?
just hammering home that she's barren. She's barren, so that someone rolls eyes. John can simply get her pregnant on the first try. Only life can pay for death. Blah blah blah. Then she's gonna die during childbirth or something, and John will have to raise the kid on his own. Thoughts? I mean, don't the Targaryen women not particularly do well in birth-giving situations? Or am I wrong on that?
I mean, we've had plenty of mothers die giving birth,
Right.
and it seems to be an importance. Like it's happened to a lot of important characters.
Right.
Well, 3 of our main characters has happened to: Jon, Daenerys, and Tyrion. All mothers died while giving birth to them.
Right. Okay, so
That has to have some significance.
right. And they said bittersweet ending.
Right.
So Jon gets his queen, and then she dies.
Yeah, but he fucked his aunt.
Yeah, well, that's what they want to do.
If we're assuming there was another thing that you were talking about him about not maybe not
It's bullshit, okay? But it was sort of interesting, okay? Like I don't believe it, but there's something to it. That when Ned was going through Robert Baratheon's bloodline, it was like male dark of hair, male dark of hair, male dark of hair, over and over again, like black of hair. Sorry,
Black
not
of hair,
dark
yeah.
of hair, black of hair. Ned Stark, brown hair. Lyanna Stark, brown hair.
right.
Okay? Baby, black hair. And I could be disputed very easily with a timeline of facts of when stuff went down. Maybe Robert fucked her before Rhaegar and her eloped. And if that's the case,
Maybe Robert was the one who raped her.
right.
You know?
And Littlefinger changed the story to, yeah. But maybe he was so obsessed with her that he nailed her before they were officially wed.
Right.
And then Rhaegar took her,
Saved her from Robert.
saved her from Robert. And then
So this has just
Jon
been viewed.
Snow,
We just
but
have a
then-
different perspective.
But then she gives birth to Robert's son, which would be Jon Snow in this
Right.
theory. But I don't think they're going to do another twist. They just hammered home the Rhaegar
Yeah, he's
thing.
Rhaegar's son, right? Well, they didn't hammer that
But
home.
what if it just means Rhaegar's a good dude and he just decided to be the father? Because he seemed to be a good guy.
Yeah, but that would make him ruin the Targaryen bloodline thing.
Right.
Like of Jon being able to touch the dragon
Right.
and all that.
That's probably why he had her guarded so closely, so that she could
And
live and have another
why would she
baby.
want him protected from Robert if it was Robert's
Because
son?
it's her baby. She doesn't want her kid to get killed.
But why would Robert kill if it was his son?
I don't know. Maybe
With the woman he
he'd
loved.
Take it. Maybe he'd take the baby.
Because that was the only part
Again,
that we
I don't
heard.
think it's true.
That we
so-
heard was,
I
please,
don't know.
like, don't tell Robert or whatever it was. Like, keep it from Robert. Keep it a secret from Robert.
Right.
Was the only thing that we heard what she whispered to him. We
Again,
don't know what else she whispered
I
to him.
100% believe it's that, but somebody said it like, you're missing the obvious, motherfuckers. John's hair is black. Nobody else's hair is black in there, but you said something about Targaryens.
Now, I was
potentially
just going to
having-
say,
yeah.
now there's like a whole, like if you like look up the Blackfire rebellions,
Okay.
like that was like a group of Targaryens who had black hair.
Gotta have your ring around there.
Yeah, sorry.
So a group of Targaryens had black hair.
Yeah, like so, like I think the black hair is in the Targaryen bloodline somewhere. So,
But would it come out? So it must be a dormant thing?
maybe in
Or a
like
recessive gene,
a
rather?
recessive gene in like
Because he's blonde,
Right.
Rhaegar, fully blonde, white hair.
white hair,
And then
Lyanna
Lyanna's got
Stark.
brown.
right? But maybe that, I mean, you don't know, I don't know how the chromosome thing works, but you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like it just ended up being black hair.
Oh, speaking of Dragon Rider, did you notice that he didn't get on Drogon?
Yeah,
That Jon wouldn't
he was
get
about
on.
to, but he didn't get on him. Yeah,
There's lore about a dragon rider can never ride two dragons. Or
So
a
that-
dragon can't be. Yeah, no, a dragon rider can't ride two dragons. So Danny
he, like,
can never.
bonds.
Danny can never get on one of the other two.
right. She can only ride
She can
Drogon.
only ride Drogon
Right,
because the dragon wouldn't let her.
right.
Which would be a good reason why.
But
oh,
then why
no,
would he let? Okay, so he's not. But why would he
he's
let
not.
all the other people on the back of him then?
Because they don't ride other dragons.
They don't ride dragons, right?
It's like they're very clingy girlfriends. These
Right.
dragons.
I like
They're
when
super
Drogon took
insecure
off at the end
girlfriends.
with all of them on the back when he flapped his wings, like blew all the whites back. They like
Right.
flew back on the ground.
Yeah, that was
just like
cool.
prove how powerful his wings were. I mean, just going back and watching the former seasons, they've done a pretty good job of scale of the dragon. Like when he compared to what he looks like now. Like when he lands in the middle, you remember how big we thought he was when he
Right.
landed in the middle of the fighting pits at
Yeah.
Marine?
Yeah, he's
and
tiny.
saved her.
He was tiny
He
as
is
fuck.
tiny. She like gets on him. It's like, oh, he's like a little horse,
Yeah.
and he flies off. You know.
Yeah.
And then you see him again when she's like riling up the Dothraki, and she's like on top of him, and he still looks a lot smaller than he does when she gets on him at the end of season 6.
Right.
You know, to to fly and burn down the ships and stuff.
Right.
He's big there, but he's even bigger now.
Oh yeah,
He's
massive
huge.
now.
Yeah. I think he'll be even bigger by the time like the end of the season. Like he'll even be a little bit bigger, you know. And then by next season, I think he's just gonna be a fucking depending on the pacing. Like if they move forward a year,
Right.
you know.
Did you see the guy fighting? Watch the guy over here on the left. He's fighting nothing.
Yeah. Just swinging.
Just swinging at nothing. Yeah.
I love the music.
Just fucking nothing's there.
The
Just
way they,
fighting everyone.
He's just like, oh, fuck it, you know? And he just swings the hammer, and the music starts as soon as he hits the first one,
Right.
and the fucking tense music. That was awesome. Awesome scene.
But yeah, so I mean that at least explains why they were sitting there, because that made no sense at the time. Like, why did they stop?
Well, first of all, the lake was frozen, so they couldn't necessarily get to them. They just kept falling in the water, which is not necessarily
But again, I think
killing
that was
them
all
off,
part
but
of the,
like then the ice freezes over and they still can't get to them.
right.
You know, like, but I mean, as soon as they found the ice was frozen, they all started coming in.
But I think it was it was
All part of the plan.
he had to
You've
he
seen
had to
it.
wait it out for the dragons to show up because
Right.
he needed the dragon for whatever the plan is.
Right.
So
He says dragon to take down the wall.
right.
Which
So
leads me to believe that the dragon's still going to breathe fire.
there's some comments from the director of the
Okay.
episode. The wall. I think there was some effort to fudge the timeline a little bit by not declaring exactly how long we were there. Taylor says, which worked for some people, for other people it didn't. Noting that fans seem to be very concerned about how fast a raven can fly. He brings up plausible impossibilities, which is what you try to achieve, rather than impossible plausibilities. So I think we were straining plausibility a little bit, but I hope the story's momentum carries over some of that stuff. Ultimately, the story took precedence over the pacing. There was just too much important stuff to address, though that doesn't seem to include discussing just how stupid the plan to capture a white was in the first place. The director, who helmed several episodes in seasons 1 and 2, says it's cool that the show is so important that so many people that it's being scrutinized so thoroughly. But yeah, he said they were straining plausibility a little bit with that.
With the raven.
yeah,
I mean,
but whatever. Yeah, it's
like,
fine.
even with that, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
I'm telling you, dude, like we could sit here and discuss it and it's fun to talk about, but that doesn't bother me. I didn't like the whole thing.
No.
I'm like, oh, that's fucking, I'm not going to be like, oh, that's fucking stupid. That can never happen. I mean, we're watching dragons and shit fly around.
Okay,
Like,
so I want to talk about a stupid thing from the episode that we haven't discussed yet. Benjen. So somebody on Twitter posted this conversation, a hypothetical conversation between Benjen and John.
okay.
Benjen, get on the horse. John, why'd you get off the horse? Benjen, you stay on the horse. John, why'd you get off the horse? Benjen, get on the...
Go to
then
the-
it just cuts off.
Right.
Like, they ran out of characters on Twitter. But the point being, why the fuck did he get off the horse? Hop on. Let's go. He
Maybe
can
the
get
horse-
through the wall once the fucking...
Maybe the horse
spell's
can't run. The
broken.
horse wouldn't be able to run as fast away,
I don't know.
as fast
It's
as
just-
the...
But then he
Yeah.
hops off and takes him out. I don't know. The horse would then take off way faster than the whites could run if they were catching up.
I don't know that it would be able to with 2 people on its back. That's what I'm saying.
No, he would then jump off if they started catching up.
Oh.
Like, okay, I'm out. I tried.
Okay.
You know, give it
Okay.
a shot, man.
I mean,
You
he
know,
was
the
just
other
making
thing,
the
we don't
noble
have enough
sacrifice.
episodes to
Like that
talk.
was a good meme you sent me or whatever, where he's just
Yeah.
like, head for the past. He's like, come with me. And he's like, there's not enough episodes left for us to talk, so I have to die now for no reason.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, but like the way the director or whoever explained it was like the only way for him to like get John to listen to him was to be just immediately pull off his mask and show his face.
Daenerys, John, get on the dragon. No one has to die. John, no. Benjen, John, get on the horse. I will stay and die. John, now we're cooking. Yeah, seeing a lot of people. Somebody was saying, seeing a lot of people backlash to people complaining about logical inconsistencies on Game of Thrones with, oh, that's unrealistic. Shut up. How the
Stop. See, I don't,
Right.
don't. You can't use that word
Right.
with this. Like, that's not, that word doesn't apply to what we're watching.
Somebody replied within 54 seconds to him and said, laughs for 20 minutes straight, telling people on the internet to shut up. Good joke. You got me with that one. And he goes, how the fuck did you laugh for 20 minutes straight in 54 seconds? Are you on Game of Thrones? because of the time with the Ravens. How did you laugh for 20 minutes and 54 seconds? Are you part of this universe?
shit.
Someone was like commenting about people complaining again. There was a lot of complaints about that part of a couple things in the episode. The other one being the chains. So somebody goes, accepts existence of dragons, accepts army of living dead. But where did they get the chains?
You're right.
And somebody goes, they haven't spent 7 seasons slowly, organically introducing the idea of giant chains that appear from nowhere.
People are pretty clever about
right.
this shit online. That's pretty funny.
So I have like 3 things left here.
Go ahead.
Somebody says, I have a question. Is it possible for Bran to warg into a white? Logically, I'd have to say no. Still, a lot of things happen on Game of Thrones that aren't entirely logical.
Well,
and then somebody goes, logically, don't be daft. This is complete fantasy. It's Thrones and anything can happen. Is it any more logical than 3 dragons, people popping back from the dead, or Dany being unburnt or even slightly burnt by fire? Bran can warg into anything the writers desire. You are meant to suspend belief and logic and go with a mythical and hard world of ice and fire with deadly reality and magic. And then somebody goes, oh, come on, it's a fantasy world, and pointing out fantasy elements and saying that anything that the writers want is possible is a bit harsh, in my opinion. The golden rule of writing fantasy is to stick to the established rules of the universe that you have created, and not to spring lazy/convenient surprises that radically alter the facts you knew hitherto just to accomplish a certain plot twist. I think so far the writers have managed to do that. It was bringing up the way that what we were talking about, sort of. What I was the crux of my point of that was I just want to know some of the rules so I can have a point of comparison to go, well, this can happen because this happened, or this can't because that did. You know what I mean? And it kind of can't. It means that sort of can't. Like, you sort of need some stepping stones to be able to argue anything in the universe or in the world. So whether we get them or not is fine. You know what I mean? We don't have to. But I liked the way he said, you can't just fucking say because they can do anything that they can do everything.
Right.
You know, like, that's a bit harsh. There are rules, and you can only do this or that. We just don't know them. There's something.
We don't know. Right.
Yeah. Let's see. There's another theory here that I wanted to discuss. It was... Oh, what did I do? Put some shit at the beginning? Yeah, I put a dash. Okay. How Daenerys might be able to have children again. Okay, well, this expands on that thing that I said earlier.
The one you were talking about. Only death can pay for life.
Right. Yeah, okay, so... but it's the only death can pay for life parts that fans have latched onto because the child Viserion has died. She looked awfully cozy with Jon Snow. May it serve you well and your children after you, Jorah says to him. You say you can't have children. The dragons are my children. They are the only children I'll ever have. Only death can pay for life.
Right.
You know, it's just kind of a synopsis of that. Okay, well, then I didn't need to go into that. That's fine. We discussed that already.
It was, it didn't say anything we had.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So this one is somebody guessing the Night King's motive.
Okay.
So far, we don't know why the Night King decided to wake up one day and decide to raise an undead army and bring down the wall. There has to be a really good reason for him to set his plan in motion. Since he is some sort of green seer, he must have known about the birth of Dany's dragons, and that is what made the Night King spring into action. That seems plausible. That they came back right around... Well, it wasn't the same time. It was before.
But we don't necessarily know... Yeah, I guess it has.
It was before.
It was pretty
it was clearly
linear.
Yeah, it seemed to be anyway.
So the White Walkers appeared at the beginning.
Came right down to
well,
Ned Stark.
The first scene, think about that. The first scene was White Walkers, and the very last scene of the first season was dragons.
Right.
A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ice, fire, that order. Right. So anyway, I think that it's possible that the Night King is trying to fulfill a prophecy of his own. Who says that the White Walkers don't have prophecies and ice priests that are intelligent and magical beings?
Seemingly, none of them have said anything.
We have seen very little of them, so we can't just shoot this theory down. People have said that in the books they have a language that sounds like crackling ice, where they do talk, but it's just like, the crackling of ice.
Well, we've heard that sound.
Right.
Around the White Walkers.
Have we?
Man, watch the first scene.
Okay.
You'll hear those weird ice crackling noises.
But maybe that's what it was doing there, and they decided not to carry on with it. Further.
I think we've seen it. We've seen it even the sound they make when they're just around. Maybe it's not necessarily whatever. You go ahead.
Right. This all came into mind when watching the last episode and seeing that the Night King was well prepared for killing a dragon, like he expected it. Everyone is saying it makes no sense that he wouldn't go for Drogon instead, killing Dany and everyone else in the process very easily. I don't think it was his goal to kill Dany or Drogon yet. That reason is because he wants Jon and Dany's unborn baby. There was a lot of foreshadowing of Dany and Jon having children, and I believe she will be pregnant very, very soon. You hear that?
Okay. Say it again.
You looked mildly distracted.
I was.
Everyone is saying that it makes no sense that he wouldn't go for Drogon instead, killing Dany and everyone else in the process very easily. I don't think it was his goal to kill Dany or Drogon yet. The reason is because he wants Jon and Dany's unborn baby. There was a lot of foreshadowing of Dany and Jon having children, and I believe she will be pregnant very, very soon. I think that neither Dany or Jon is the prince that was promised, but their child, or maybe even twins, who is meant to be the true Song of Ice and Fire. I can't think of any reason for them to introduce a pregnancy into the storyline unless it's very important to the story. We know the Night King loves to turn babies, and this baby is like the baby of all babies, a
Right.
child of the Mother of Dragons and an undead Stargaryen.
Stargaryen.
I bet that one of the baby's eyes will be red and the other blue, some sort of powerful hybrid walker. I believe that the Night King has some huge plans, and killing everyone and taking over Westeros is just one of them. There is a hidden agenda that will be revealed next season. There might be a White Walker / children prophecy in one of those books Sam stole. I know that there's a theory out there that the Night King wants Dany to be his Night Queen, and that's entirely possible. But I would love Cersei to fulfill that role. I can imagine a scene with a heavily pregnant Dany being surrounded by White Walkers, and the Night King slowly approaches her, and all he does is just lay a hand on her stomach and smile.
Okay. You know, I did think about the whole Cersei thing, like just while sitting and watching, like, what if her major fuck you is to team up with them and then, like, join the fucking Night King? Have we not recorded anything?
No, this is going so. I ran
Okay.
out of video. No big
Okay.
deal.
You hear what I'm saying, right? Like, Cersei, like, tells them at this meeting that we're going to see in the next episode that she's going to join up with them, suspend them fighting to join up to defeat the Night King because they have the proof with the white or
Right.
whatever. And then totally, like, fuck them. And, like, she's hungry for power with nothing to lose at this point and join the Night King
But wouldn't she have to
to
die?
be the Ice Queen. Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
the
for
one thing
eternal
the
power?
one thing we didn't discuss was the Night King. The Night King being a Lord Commander.
Yeah, that's been said too.
That he was the 13th Lord Commander, and he went with. Oh shit! That's another tie-in to the book, the Ice Dragon. Did you catch how cold she is? She's a child of winter.
Who is?
Adara
Yes.
in the
Yeah,
Ice
yeah, yeah,
Dragon.
yeah, it's the
She's
biggest princess.
pale with bright blue eyes.
And white hair.
Yeah,
Or blonde hair, they explain. So she
Right.
looks like a Targaryen.
sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Okay.
think that I'm excited to finish. It's only 8 chapters,
Oh, really?
and those are short chapters too. I finished the first one in like 10 minutes. It's nothing.
I might have gotten close to finishing the first chapter while I
Yeah,
was sitting outside.
it's not. They're
Right.
not long.
I'm going to read it then. Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, that's my recommendation for the week.
Check out the Ice Dragon.
read
George
the
R. R.
Ice
Martin's The
Dragon.
Ice
You can find
Dragon.
a PDF of it on
Right.
on
And it's
Google
got
for
little
free.
illustrations to it, too. It's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would enjoy what I was reading of it.
Yeah, no, I got
Did
nothing
you put
else.
those audiobooks on my computer?
I don't think I did.
I thought I saw them somewhere, but yeah, I want to get a hold of those.
Oh,
for
I
you, too.
copied them to that drive. Didn't you bring a drive over? Or I copied them somewhere. I think I did.
Okay.
I think I put them on your computer somewhere. What do you think's coming up in the finale?
Well, did you see the previews? I mean, are we allowed to discuss that?
Yeah,
We saw the
I mean,
previews.
I'd say at
It
this
looks like
point,
we're
tune out if
we're
you're-
getting the meeting
Right?
of the John. I didn't see Daenerys in the preview, so I don't know that I don't know that they would bring her right without like being on the back of Drogon. Like she's too important to
Right.
be like to risk at that point.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. We're definitely gonna get the meeting. Tyrion's gonna face his sister again, which should be kind of cool to see.
Right.
You know, that's not going to be the whole episode. So I guess hopefully you'll see the wall come down. Hopefully we'll see maybe a little bit of the Ice Dragon's capabilities. Maybe
That
we'll
would
see
be
if it
cool, but I
breathes.
have a feel. I just have this feeling
They're gonna
that
save it for next
they're
season.
saving the whole fucking conflict with him for the final season.
The whole conflict with the White Walkers.
Yeah,
You don't think we'll get like the conflict to take over the wall or whatever at that point?
I would love for it to have happened.
So now, do you
already.
think they're going to Castle Black then? Because that's basically like the middle of the wall.
Why wouldn't they just blow it up at Eastwatch?
I don't know.
It seemed well. The only reason Gendry ran back to Eastwatch is because that's where people were,
That's where they were.
right? And there
Yeah.
was nobody at.
That's
Castle
where they had
Black.
left from.
Nobody's at Castle Black, right?
Yeah. Ed. And,
Oh, they are still there.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh shit! See, I didn't think anybody was there for some reason. I don't know why.
that's what I'm saying.
That's right, because Bran came through the wall.
Right. I think they're
forgot.
going to. That's where they're going to attack. If they attack the wall, they're not going to attack the wall at Eastwatch. Why would they do that? Then Castle Black just sits there and plays no part in the final conflict. Castle Black's getting toasted, dude. If
Right.
the wall comes
okay.
down, it's coming down in the middle at Castle
You don't
Black.
think it should all come down?
It might, but it's going to stem from Castle Black.
Okay.
I can see the whites forming some sort of like ramp up to the top of the wall.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a pile of dead bodies to
Yeah,
where
but they
can
can't
climb
get
up
over the wall. Oh, you're saying because
We don't know what you hear because you're different levels of magic. We don't know that the magic that was keeping them out of that cave is the same spell that's keeping them away from the wall.
well, but here's what we do know.
They brought a white into
was-
Castle Black.
A white came back in Castle Black. It reanimated
Right.
there. It didn't. They didn't bring it through.
So that's why
It came through
It might
alive.
prevent the White Walkers from crossing, which is why they would need to destroy the wall. But I don't think it's going to prevent the whites from going over the wall.
Okay, because a white did go over the wall
Yes,
and is fine.
and John killed it? But yeah, it was there.
No,
Regardless
not
of,
that one. I'm talking now.
well, they took
They
it
just
over-
took. They
Yeah,
grabbed it on a.
it's not. It's the spell keeps the White Walkers out. Benjen can't cross because he had the dragon glass shoved into his chest.
Dude, how
just like a
cool
White
would it be
Walker.
if? Okay, so that would be why they couldn't have flown him over the wall, because that was my thought with Benjen. Get back to the wall, and you could be sitting in Winterfell right now, fucking
Right.
chilling, literally, because you're
Right.
cold hands.
Right.
You know,
You know what? A cooler end like would have been for him too would have been an explosion.
oh,
Like he had,
thank
like, a
you for
grenade.
saying that, dude. Because one thing we didn't talk about was the way that you said, "Oh my God, look, Viserion exploded." When it
It
got
looked
hit.
like he exploded.
But Drogon wasn't breathing fire when he got hit in the shoulder. That Viserion was breathing fire
Right.
when it got hit. So it was just the fire like leaked out.
yeah, I
That's
think
what I'm thinking, rather than the blade. I thought we were saying at the time that the blade caused him to burst into
No,
flames.
oh.
It like opened up his fire chamber
I'm si-
as he was about to breathe it. So it was creating it inside him, and it just like cut into that pocket.
and the
then,
fire, like 'cause
fire
it was almost
spilled
like his
out.
blood was on fire.
Right.
Like as it was spilling out. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like he got hit with a missile.
Yeah, I just thought that was a cool, a little distinction there. I think it was that he was just about to breathe it, and he had it inside him, rather than the spear was magic and it cut through him like that, and therefore caused
I
him
always
to
thought
burst into
I don't
flames.
necessarily I thought it I never thought that it was the spear that caused him to explode. I
Okay.
always thought I maybe didn't articulate it.
Right, 'cause
before, but,
that's what I took
I was
from
thinking it
it.
was
I was
something
like,
to
well,
do
maybe.
with the dragon
Because
being made
he
of
is
fire.
powered. I mean, he is fucking magic, dude. For he is magic, the Night King. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm not against the idea that the blade had some magic in it.
Well, yeah, but I'm not saying that that blade exploded.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it totally has something to do with the dragon breathing fire.
Right,
But like it
okay.
was almost like his insides, like the blood caught fire, like as it like you
Ooh,
said,
okay.
like it was like it's almost like oil, like it's like his because he's the inside. It creates fire from
Right.
the inside, like so it has to be something. But like yeah, like you said, it hit that gland or something
Yeah.
or whatever. There's got to be some science
Calling it
behind
his
it, like
fire sack.
you know, hit that and exploded. Yeah, I like that explanation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck. I don't know. I don't really have anything else.
I mean, let's hope we get what we want in the next episode. It's the finale.
I guess that's what do we want? What are we hoping for? Best case scenario, they settle the shit with Cersei. I mean, they're not going to settle it. It's just not going to fucking happen.
She's not whatever she agrees to. She's.
But everybody knows that, man. I
Yeah,
don't think
everybody knows that.
anybody's going into this thinking that she's going to tell the truth. I would love to see a twist where she gets just wiped out immediately. like by all these people. Like everybody turns on her.
Yeah, you know, like
And it's
okay,
just like you're out of the fucking equation, bitch.
Right.
And now it's no longer we have to worry about Cersei.
Right.
Now it's just the Night King versus
and
humans.
like everybody that was behind her is just kind of like, oh God, thank
Oh,
you
thank
for
you,
fuck's sake.
yeah.
Night King, yeah, we got your back, dude, totally.
No, not Night King, John. They would back John.
But no, like saying, oh, the Night King, we got to take him on.
Yeah.
Okay, we got you. We're all with you. You know.
You were saying they were talking to the Night King. Yeah, we got your
Yeah.
back, Night King.
No, that's what I mean. Like, all right, okay, you know what I mean. But like, it's like, oh, like he's talking to John, like, oh, the Night King. Yeah, okay, let's go get him. Like, we got you.
How poetic would it be though if, and I know it's kind of time travel, you can fuck with a lot of things, and maybe you should only use it sparingly, because it's sort of better left that way, because you can undo everything with time travel in theory.
really want to,
If you
if
really,
you really
wanted
want to,
So,
yeah.
but how poetic would it be if Bran built the wall as Bran the Builder in Warging, trying to defend against the White Walkers, and in doing so blocked himself from whatever his task is. And again, I'm going with the Bran's the Night King because it's fun to talk about.
Yeah.
What would his goal be, man? Why does he need to get south of the wall? What is he trying to do? He's got to have a plan. He can't just be irrational Bran. It's got to be still the same guy, if it is, that knows what he knows.
Maybe
You think he's so far drowned?
he just so like he knows everything that these people have done to each other, to each other's families, and he's just tired of all. He's
never
just like,
seemed vindictive.
I'm just gonna wipe all of you out.
Maybe that's part of the transformation. I mean, and then the building the army.
Well, there's
thing
not. He
and-
can't be the same kind kid that he is. Like he's
Right.
got to turn evil at some point. Maybe realizing that he gets super angry with the Three-Eyed Raven for setting him on this path,
Is there
and that's
no
why
s-
he like
Okay, I guess
hates
that
the
works.
Three-Eyed Raven. You know what I mean?
the Night King? Fair enough.
Right.
Because he knows that's what got him started.
Like when he
Okay.
walks in and kills the Three-Eyed Raven, there was some.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like I have to do this. This
It was like, fuck yeah.
I finally got your fucking ass, and
Yeah.
it's over now. And the way
So
he,
that could
like-
have been the
Like I
thing.
think it's a hatred. Like he hates the Three-Eyed Raven, which Bran, of course, Bran would hate him for setting him on this path if that's the case.
If
you know
that
what I mean?
ends up
Like,
being it, yeah. I mean,
dude, I'm telling you, it's gaining steam for me, bro. I like it.
it makes
And I might like it might be one of these theories that we come up with where I'm a little disappointed if it's
does.
not the case.
You know what? I think that leads me to my final point.
Okay.
I think that some people are going to be disappointed with the ending of this series.
There's no question about it.
But I didn't think that up until now. Up until this season, I didn't think there was a chance, dude. You know how much it kills me inside that it's going to end better, like overall, where people are going to be like, it was more consistent than Lost last season.
See,
like for some reason that bugs me. I don't know why. It's irrational,
Tim,
but I
see,
don't want it to be because Lost is my favorite. So,
I
like,
understand, and that's
it
and
annoys
that-
me
it's
that
never
like he
gonna
took
change.
a pot shot at Lost, George R.R. Martin, about the ending of Lost.
Yeah, but he's not the one who's doing the show.
I know, but it
And if
feels
his
like,
book ending is better, or it depends. Like I don't even. I almost can't pin it on him, dude.
but I can
There's
pin the
like
plan.
go
on him.
back and watch The Door, or just watch the end after the credits.
The episode by the guy who directed a lot of episodes of Lost, Jack Bender.
Yeah, okay. Which
He's
is
so good.
I mean, like that's dude. Like the Door is Game of Thrones, the constant.
Right.
For me,
Oh,
for sure.
It is the constant.
yeah.
Literally, in
Yeah.
terms of the time travel
Okay.
stuff. The consciousness traveling.
I forgot where I was going. With
Oh,
that.
sorry. We were talking about
God damn it.
The Door just prior to that.
Oh, go back and watch the after the credits and watch the creators talk about
Featurette, okay.
a conversation that they had with George R.R. Martin. You can tell by the way they're talking about it that they don't know. He's keeping the shit for himself. They don't
Right.
know. They're like, oh, we're trying to get as much information out of him as we could.
Right.
Right there, that sentence right there confirms to me that he's not telling them everything. They're sitting in these sessions in a hotel room with him and trying to fucking pry information to him that he does not want to give.
Yeah. That's stupid.
I bet you he wanted to keep The Door for himself.
you couldn't
The Hodor
have
thing, but you
Hodor in
couldn't
the-
do it though.
No.
You couldn't, that's the one he had to give up. The end now, like the long end, is the one that he's gonna write.
That's what I was getting to. The disappointment, I think the disappointment's going to stem from look at how fucking amazing and intricate everything has been so far. I think that is largely due to, and I'm giving him credit here, George R.R. Martin, because of the writing, they were able to adapt a series that was already done and take the best parts of his verbiage and like he
now it's
made
not
these
there.
characters, and now it's not there, so they're having to come up with it. And they're doing it in less episodes than, as we said last week, in depth the books will be. So I think there's going to be that disappointment at the depth of where this all goes, unfortunately, for the end of the series. I think that it's maybe not going to hit all of the buttons everybody was hoping it would hit. And there's going to be a similar amount of, well, these questions were unanswered, like in Lost, and you're just going to have to fucking deal with it and go, I can sort of figure out what I think those questions' answers are. And that's infinitely more fun as a viewer than being fed all those answers.
I think so too.
I don't want all the answers in Lost. I was fucking reading a thing the other day. I'll show you after the podcast. I found it in the box set. And it was a fucking journal entry. It's cool as fuck.
You were telling me about it.
It ties
Yeah.
together something that we didn't get to see on the show, but it was a hungover question. And it was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. So they could do stuff like that in the books, and they're going to do stuff like that. And he is going to do stuff like that in the
He's
books.
saving some of his best ideas for himself.
He was asked in an interview if he would change, because in the late 90s he got on message boards and he was reading what people were saying about his series, A Song of Ice and Fire. Right. And he said some people had guessed some of the storylines. And then the interviewer said, would you change them because people found out? And he said, no, because I've been sprinkling in clues the whole way. And it would be it would be, you know,
you would betray your story.
You would be lying, and it wouldn't make sense to change those outcomes because those are the reasons those clues were there to begin with.
Yeah.
And like, I appreciate that sticking to itness of,
right.
I'm
so
not
fucking
changing
3
it.
people guessed it.
That's what Robert was saying to me today too, was that, oh, well, people have guessed it already, so they're gonna change it. And I'm like, I think that the exact opposite. They're not going to change it just
they would never
because
do that. Even the show writers
of the population,
because some asshole put it on.
Yeah,
like,
who cares?
Guessed it by random. That dude doesn't know he's right,
and he's not going to. They're not going to
Until
undo. It doesn't undo all the subtle storytelling you've been leading and hinting at this whole way. If you change it, it's a betrayal to the fans more so than just giving them something that is quote unquote predictable. Which I don't think it necessarily will be predictable, but I don't think it's going to be something that everybody's going to be happy with. And I don't mean happy like it was a happy ending.
Listen. Like you said yourself about Lost, that you were somewhere, like you did. You said, I don't know if I have ever said it out loud before, but you were disappointed with the direction that they were going.
Some of season 6,
with the temple and all that.
The middle of the first part, yeah. Like 3 through 8.
There has been nothing so far that's been disappointing. I'm going to ride.
Not in the last season yet.
I understand that,
right.
But even the second to last season, which was
nothing in this season has been disappointing. Not even the little amount of stuff.
Maybe if I want to lean on something that's disappointing is the fact, but I don't know how to explain it. I know we're coming up on the finale, but it doesn't.
Are you ready to let go?
It doesn't feel like it doesn't
feel like
it doesn't. I'm not noticing that it's not 10 episodes. I haven't noticed. I don't. I know we're coming up on the finale, and it seems like a short period of time. But like now that I'm looking back on what we've seen so far this season, yeah, I could do with more, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk myself out of liking the end.
Oh no, I've liked all of it.
You're starting to though.
No,
I think you're starting.
I'm thinking. I'm finally coming around to other people are going to be disappointed. I don't think I'm going to be.
Oh, okay.
I think other people.
It sounds like you're setting yourself up for being disappointed by.
No, and what I would be doing is setting my expectations lower so that I was pleasantly surprised by it.
To me, I don't think there's any way that like I don't see it being disappointing.
I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. I think that only now am I starting to finally come to the side of. I think that the collective there will be a portion of the fan base that is going to be in the same way that people shit on the ending of Lost.
But I'm saying no matter what.
But that's not the case. A lot of shows end and people are like, that was great. Fringe was awesome. You know, it ended well.
Yeah, but there's still people out there that bitch about it.
But
bet you any
collective, but for the most part, it's a vocal minority that hated the ending of Lost. But when you ask people, like Beth at my work, never watched a bit of Lost. I told her, you need to watch Lost. You will love it. And she goes, but I heard the ending sucks. I heard they were dead the whole time. I'm like, motherfucker.
See, that's
You're getting
wrong.
misinformation
Yeah.
and you're just wrong. But I think that might be passed down with. I hope it doesn't get that for this show. I hope it doesn't because it doesn't deserve it yet.
But that's what I'm saying, dude.
I'm not. I'm rooting for it.
Dude,
absolutely. I want this to be the best show
and
ever.
I know you've psychoanalyzed Lost to a degree of which other people do not.
Right.
But
I'm doing a podcast on it. You got to remember that's why it's in my consciousness every week.
You were like this before you started doing a fucking
Absolutely.
podcast.
That's
on
why
it.
I'm doing the podcast. I had to get it out.
Anyway, it was the same thing for Lost for me, bro.
What?
There was no way it was disappointing me.
Right.
I loved that show when it was on.
Right.
I loved watching it. I don't know that I was disappointed with the temple stuff. I don't remember. I have to go back and watch
You're
it
gonna
again.
watch Lost again.
Okay,
soon.
I do.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's like I remember being so emotionally invested at that point
Right.
that there was no disappointing me. What happened?
The only
It wasn't-
disappointment I had was that there was only 18 episodes for the final season.
Right. So like, if that was my only disappointment, I'm okay with that. I have to watch Lost again. You're correct. I just don't.
Well, I'm
I
not
don't know.
trying to make it about Lost here. I'm trying to
know.
make it about this show, and I don't know that 7 episodes doesn't seem like that is the. Now think about what we're saying. 7 episodes is the end of this entire epic tale. The end of what he ever
7.
intended to tell.
That's not true though.
Well, it's the end of what we're going to get as that
As
story.
a television show,
We're going to. It's the Hobbit. It's the movie The Hobbit version of the book The
still
Hobbit.
longer,
Right. Yeah, still longer than the book.
still longer than the end of like
Wait, what?
the end of the Lord of the Rings. Like all that shit wrapped up in like 20 minutes. We're getting 13 hours of the end. If you really look at it like that.
Well, we didn't get the fights and stuff. We haven't gotten all the battles just yet. I mean, we've gotten a few, but
But that's what I'm saying. Like we still have 7 hours left.
right.
For the
maybe
end.
maybe it's just general television show
I
pacing
think it's just
that's
like-
bothering us. That bothers me about it. It feels like I don't only want to spend 6 hours with these characters or 7 hours with these
And
characters.
see, I guess I
still.
don't feel like that because I've been rewatching.
Yeah.
So I've been spending a lot of time with these characters.
But that's
But-
what I love about shows is
But dude, I don't-
the
I don't
seemingly
like-
never-ending nature of it. But like the fact that this story is finite bums me out a little bit. That like holy shit,
Yeah, it'll be over.
all of the things that have been put in place so far are going to come to fruition or not
Right.
in the next 7 episodes. Remember me talking about the sweet spot of the show?
Right.
We're past that now. Not everything can happen from here on out. Only specific stuff can happen. We were at a point before this season where fucking anything could happen still. Like literally this could go anywhere for the last 13 episodes. And it's picked a direction and it's going somewhere now. Like that's why that's the sweet spot because so many possibilities are opened up and
Yeah,
you don't
but-
know where they're going to go. But then when they pick a direction, that's set in stone and that is the direction.
But okay,
now.
but it
and it's
has-
not a bummer necessarily.
Yeah, but it has to come to an end. Though.
Right,
Like,
it
if
just
doesn't
is
come to an
limiting
end, then
those
it's just like
infinite
there's no
possibilities.
end game, and it just keeps going on forever. Like that doesn't make sense either.
No, I get it. It's just unfathomable to me that there's only 7 hours of story left in this world.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, in the tale of Ice and Fire, you know, in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe, that's the what's in this
that
Game of
may
Thrones.
not necessarily
part.
be true either. This
Right.
is true for this story.
I know what you mean, but yeah, they are talking about prequels and stuff, but I'll believe those when I see them.
Yeah, for sure. I'll when I see a trailer, then I'll believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
And are they gonna fucking run it or not? Who's gonna run the sequels? I don't want it to. I don't know. I'm torn on that. I'd be fine with them ending it, and that's it,
I would be okay with that too.
because it should be good enough.
To end.
Yeah.
See, I think, yeah, like I said, I can see the look on your face. I think you're already setting yourself up for disappointment.
What do you mean?
I think you are. I think like just
I'm
in
only
the-
sad that there's not going to be more
I know,
episodes, man. That's it.
I know.
I'm not going to be sad. I don't think I'm going to be sad at the way it ends. I think I'm going to be sad about a couple things because you never know which points they're not going to address that you really want them to. And they are going to inevitably disappoint in that regard. Like there will be something that I was hoping they'd talk about, but it wasn't required. Like it'd
Right.
be cool if they told me this or that, but they're not going to, and one of them's going to bum me out. Fair enough, but for the most part, I'm fine with it. It's only that I'm done in that world that bums me out. It's like, oh, the story's over. Like, but what happens to them now? You know,
But
like,
that's any movie or show ever.
well, it's not though necessarily. I mean, some of them are so conclusive at the ending of what happens to the characters.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? Again, like Lord of the Rings, it tells you where they fucking go, and you know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing. We're going to get an end game with Arya and Sansa and Bran and all these people. Some of them will die, and some of them will just continue living and take over this new world potentially, or they'll all fucking die. But like, there's a potential for, oh damn, I wonder what's happening now. Like it may not be anything exciting, but it'd be
Right.
cool to
That's
see.
yeah. I mean,
What is Arya starting a family? Is she a lesbian? Who knows?
see, but that's stuff that doesn't need the show. That's stuff that's left to us to talk about.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll be back for the finale next week.
Yep. Make sure you subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, please. That is how other people will find the show. We only have one more season to go, one more episode in this season. Tell other people to watch the podcast. Subscribe, share it, blah, blah, blah. Subscribe to all the other stuff on Comeuppance Network. Go to our Comeuppance Network Facebook page. There's lots of good stuff on there. And we will see you later.
This is how to watch TV.
I already said see you later.
All these memories in my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drinker, drinker.